All right, so day 4. Um, this morning we got up at around 11 and went out to Hadrian's Wall, which, as you will see from the pictures, is exactly what you think of when you think English countryside. These beautiful rolling hills, miles of stone walls, sheep everywhere. Beautiful. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. And we're lucky because normally the weather here is cold and rainy. But today it happened to warm up and the sun came out and it was just perfect. Um, and we got there and walked up to the wall and to the old Roman fort, and I realized quite quickly that, and just over the days, um, they treat historical artifacts quite differently here than in the US. You always think of, Williamsburg with people everywhere and police ready to fuss at you if you're touching on something or climbing something that you're not supposed to, or they're just very protective over their history back home. And then here, I mean, you can climb on the wall. People are grazing their sheep in the fort. There's sheep leftovers everywhere. And it's just kind of like, yeah, hey, have fun. Enjoy your interaction with history. Oh, yeah. Oh, half the wall hasn't been excavated. Yeah, I'll get to it. Maybe. It's just because they have so much history here and it's so long and it's everywhere that I guess they just, not as big of a deal. It's just like, yeah, wall from 129 AD, what up? So that was kind of bizarre. But hey, I got to climb all over everything, take pictures. It was great. Oh, lots of steep climbing, jumping over bogs. I have to say that I missed a lot of my friends back home because I was picturing all of my friends gallivanting and racing over the hills and getting really excited about things and going on forever, and it would have been really fun. Sad I can't share it with all of you. And then we went and had lunch in Wall to town, not the Wall, just Wall, at Hadrian's Hotel. So we had lunch at Hadrian's in Wall. Bit of a pun there, yeah. Um, had bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, which is different. Bacon's different here, delicious with chips, and a wonderful waiter. And got to hear some different accents from the table next to me and some cursing for the first time since I've been here. It was interesting. Um, Drove back, met with the youth pastor for a bit, Ken. He had to run an errand, so we actually walked into town together, got to see a bit of the area, and talked about youth culture, differences, youth resources here, youth resources at home, the weirdness of Rob Bell. That was fun. And then shared stories of trouble we'd gotten into, him setting a mic on fire, me with chemicals in 2-liter bottles, getting into trouble and laughing about that. And then just talked about trying to get how to get youth involved in the church and the misconceptions that so many of them have and how to correct those and good stuff. Backstreet Boys was playing when I got back, and I then commended the wonderful college student who was playing Backstreet Boys in the hall waiting, prayed with them before the dinner, and then a group of boys volunteered to answer my interview questions that I have to do for my assignment. So we sat down and talked about American stereotypes, what they thought of America, um, wanted me to let you know America, that pants are not everything. There's a difference between trousers and pants, and we need to start using the term trousers because it's confusing, apparently. Also, it's aluminium, not aluminum. It's leisure, not leisure. Uh, and I don't know, there's another one, some other word I don't mean to correct. But yeah, it was a really lot of fun. I kind of joked with them about things. They made fun of me for different little American things. Laughed at the fact that you can't kiss at my university technically without being fined. And they asked how much the fines were, and I told them. And one of them was like, "Oh, that could get expensive." And the other guys were like, "Oh, well, how many girls are you kissing?" Man, I gotta empty my bank account because all my kisses. And that was great, making fun of him. That sounds awful. It was everyone was together. It was funny. Anyway, um, great getting to know each other. Um, just talking about different things. The pseudo Christianity pseudo-religiosity really of the US, and then the sort of blatant secular characteristics more of England, and very interesting. Then a short message with dinner from the youth minister from Ken, quite good. And then split off into small groups. Beforehand we had coffee and cookies, or tea really and cookies. And one of the girls was talking about how I asked if all of the schools around here wore uniforms, because I've seen lots of schools getting out today and everyone was in uniform. She said, yeah, most schools require uniforms, really all of them. And then told a story about how her sister, the first day of school, got fussed at by the headmistress because she wasn't wearing the correct socks. And the headmistress told her that she was the reason for the fall of society. And she said her little sister looked at her and said, it's my first day in their socks? I said, I probably would have said the same thing. Um, and then disaster hit tonight at small group, where, of course, we talked about the verse in Colossians tonight about wives submitting to your husbands, and the leader asked, what do you think of when you think of this? And, they all kind of gave different answers. And, I said, well, I may be a fire starter here, but I'm actually in a feminist theology class right now, and we've looked at this in sort of a different light. It says, women submit to your husbands, and husbands love your wives. And, we talked about in class, well, would you expect your wives to love your husbands? Well, of course. Well, then why wouldn't you expect your husbands to submit to your wives in some situations? That it actually goes both ways. What do you think? And they all just like stared at me wide-eyed, and I was like, this was a mistake. One, I don't know these people. Two, I'm American. Three, I just basically said I was a feminist when really I'm not. At least not, the general idea of people have as feminists, this extreme idea that they have. And I was like, oh no, oh, this is awful. And it was incredibly embarrassing and awkward. I didn't talk the rest of the time. I was done at that point. And I wish I had kind of the opportunity to be like, I'm not a crazy feminist, by the way, but I don't think that would have helped my situation any at that point. Ooh, my mouth. So that was sad. Hopefully I'll have the chance to get to know them a little better tonight. I'm going to a concert tomorrow night that a lot of them are going to. Music in the city, so hopefully maybe they'll get to know me better there and realize I'm not a psycho, outspoken, idiotic American. Okay, maybe I am, but not to the extremes that they're probably picturing now. See how that goes. Actually, in all honesty, I'm really completely fine with the whole, in a marriage relationship, there comes to a disagreement. Yeah, husband, go with your decision. Honestly, it makes it easier on me. I'm down with that. So, awkward. Gonna plague me. Continue to be pretty embarrassed about that. So, that was my day, pretty much. I'm sure there are things I've forgotten, but I'm too concerned about my idiocy from earlier to really remember them. Take a look at the pictures I posted. They're beautiful. Yeah. So, gonna go to bed. Good night, and cheers.